The Twins and Guardians had a great weekend, a great 5-game series. Cleveland has Minnesota's number. I will address that a little bit more in depth. The Dodgers and the Padres start a very important 4-game set with the opener last night. I will have a complete wrap of the opener and a look ahead to the weekend. The Cardinals and Phillies have a very important 3-game set, and the Phillies are going to be minus Bryce Harper, their big spark plug. The NASCAR Cup Series is at Road America for the very first time, and the IndyCar Series is at Mid-Ohio. I'm looking forward to that personally. NBA free agency is heating up with 2 big names staying where they're at, and one very huge name that could go somewhere else. And in the world of college football, the Big Ten Conference just got bigger, and they may not be done yet. I'll give you all the complete details of all these stories today, and I'll have my closing thoughts as usual. And we will start the show right after this. Everybody, what a great week we had in Cleveland. A 5-game set. Cleveland takes 3 of 5 from the Minnesota Twins. And now the Guardians only find themselves 1 game back. But unfortunately for the Guardians, they got to face the New York Yankees this weekend at home. I don't even want to think about it. But the week in Cleveland was a wonderful one. Cleveland took 3 of 5, including 2 walk-off home runs 2 days in a row. But let's think about this for a minute. Andres Gimenez, what is he doing right now for Cleveland? He's hitting a wonderful 308, but in this 5-game set, he was 3 for 16, 2 runs. The home run, the walk-off yesterday, 2 RBIs, and he struck out twice. Jose Ramirez, now he did have some struggles, but he was 4 for 19 in this 5-game set. 1 run, he had 2 doubles in the series. Very nice. 2 walks, but he did strike out 3 times. But if you're looking for a player of the week for the Cleveland Guardians, I got one for you. Ahmed Rosario, what is he doing? He's hitting a respectable 287. He was 9 of 20 in this 5-game set. 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, 1 walk, but he did strike out 3 times. But I want to give love to one more player for the Guardians. Stephen Kwan. He's hitting 284. He's getting no love. But he was 4 for 16 with 4 runs, a double, 1 RBI. He did have 5 walks, and he struck out twice. Not a bad week for the Guardians, taking 3 of 5. 2 walk-off home runs 2 days in a row. Where can you go wrong? Josh Naylor was actually the other spark plug. I didn't mention him because he didn't do very well, with the exception of a home run on Wednesday night. But it is what it is. As for the Minnesota Twins, yes, they have 2 guys hitting over 300. Luis Arias, and he's hitting a wonderful 340. But in this 5-game set, he was 5 for 21, 3 runs. He did have a triple. I'll give him that. He did have an RBI. He walked 3 times. He had 3 walks, and he struck out 3 times. Carlos Correa, the former World Series MVP from 5 years ago with the Astros. What is he doing? He's hitting a 301. He was 5 for 13 in this 5-game set. 5 runs. He had 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. He did have 4 walks, and he struck out 3 times. As for Gio Urshela, the former New York Yankee, what is he doing right now? He's hitting a respectable 258. But in his 5-game set, he was 6 for 19 with 3 runs. He did have 2 doubles in the series. I'll give him that. 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and 4 strikeouts. Max Kepler. I'm going to give him a little bit of love because he's hitting a pretty respectable 242 right now. But in this 5-game set, he was 3 for 14 with 2 runs, a home run, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and didn't strike out once. What can we do to point to this 5-game set? What can we do? But if you want to look at pitching performances, I got a couple of them for you. Sonny Gray. He got the win in the opener on Monday. He pitched 7 solid innings, gave up 3 hits, walked 1, struck out 3. Now, Sonny Gray, the former Cincinnati Red, he's now 4-1 on the season with a 2.17 ERA. Not a bad deal. But on the other side for the Guardians, my pitching performance goes to Zach Plesac. Unfortunately, he got a no decision. He's pitched 6 solid innings, gave up 3 hits, walked 3, struck out 7. He's got a 3.6 ERA. And Emmanuel Clays, you got to give this guy some love. He got his 18th save of the season, but he now has a 2-2 record to go with it at a 1.35 ERA. Now what can we possibly point to of what went wrong in this 5-game set? I can answer that for you. The Twins bullpen is a joke. I'm trying to be nice. Twins Nation, but I hate to say it, but your bullpen is a joke, and the Guardians exposed it like there was no tomorrow. 2 comeback wins 2 days in a row. The Guardians have the Twins when it comes to their bullpen, they have their number. And that's all there is to it. I watched in the last 2 games, 2 home runs and 2 walk-offs in a row. That's just crazy. The Twins they've had like what? 4 or 5 blown saves against the Guardians alone. I forgot about what happened in Minnesota a couple weeks back. And that's a fact. And to be quite honest with you, the division is close. And I think everybody knows it. Everybody knows why. That's the truth of the matter. A big win. And the Guardians take 3 of 5 from the Minnesota Twins at the most important time. That's just all there is to it. A huge win. The Guardians are still 1 game back in the American League Central as they head into the weekend against the Yankees. And if the Guardians can take 2 of 3 from New York at home, that would be a real big help. Believe me. That's all there is to it. Okay. Let's move on. The San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers started a very important 4-game set last night. The Dodgers beat the Padres 3-1. And I'm going to tell you something. Had it not been for Justin Turner, I think Joe Musgrove would have thrown a no-hitter last night to open up this 4-game set. Justin Turner was 3 for 3 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. The rest of the Dodger bats were only a combined 2 for 25. Yeah. But it was Joe Musgrove who did it to himself. He pitched 7 innings last night, gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 home runs, 1 walk, but he did strike out 10. I'm not giving him a pitching performance for the week. But he does have but Musgrove has an 8-2 record with a 2.25 ERA. That I'll give him. But that's about all I'll give him. But tonight, the 4-game set between the Dodgers and the Padres for tonight's game, if you want a good quality pitching matchup, don't look to tonight. The San Diego Padres are sending Blake Snell to the mound. He has an 0-5 record, people, a 5.60 ERA. He does have 38 strikeouts to his credit. Yeah, boy. Padres did not play their cards right because guess what? The Dodgers are sending Tony Gonsolin to the mound, a possible National League Cy Young candidate. He has a 9-0 record with a 1.58 ERA and 69 strikeouts to his credit. Give this one to the Dodgers. Now, Saturday night, and this is a Saturday night game on Fox. Most of you will be able to see this, but there will be some that won't. On Saturday, the Padres will be sending Yu Darvish to the mound. He has a 7-3 record with a 3.26 ERA and 75 strikeouts to his credit. And who will the Los Angeles Dodgers be sending to the mound on Saturday night? Tyler Anderson. He has an 8-1 record with a 3.23 ERA and 67 strikeouts to his credit. That's your Saturday night matchup on Fox. Then on Sunday, the main event in the eyes of some people. The San Diego Padres will be sending Mackenzie Gore to the mound. A 4-3 record with a 3.34 ERA and 65 strikeouts to his credit. That's just all there is to it. And the Dodgers will be sending Clayton Kershaw. At one time, one of the best pitchers in the Dodgers rotation. He's working his way back slowly. But he does have a 5-2 record with a 2.94 ERA and 51 strikeouts to his credit. Last night's game was an interesting one. That one, I'll say that. But if you're looking for three big bats from each team, the three biggest bats I've seen are Manny Machado. He's hitting 327. Eric Hosmer. He's hitting 277. Jake Cronenworth, he's having some struggles, but he's hitting a respectable 248. Not bad for Cronenworth. Manny Machado is the Padres spark plug. And they're going to need that spark plug in the next two games. If they want to get 3 out of 4, or get a split with the Dodgers. But on the other side of the ball, Trey Turner, he struggled last night. He's hitting a wonderful 305. Freddie Freeman, the same thing. He's hitting 304. And Gavin Lux, what is he doing? He's not hitting 300, but he's hitting a very respectable 292. And that's all there is, people. And that's all I can say. A 4-game set with the opener last night. Joe Musgrove's going to be kicking himself this morning. Because I bet you right now, this morning, he's thinking, if I wouldn't have given up those 3 runs, the 2 home runs, I'm going to possibly almost pitch a no-hitter. And that's what most people are thinking this morning. Everybody in San Diego. That's what they're thinking this morning. Joe let him down. But it's the opener. The Padres can still take 3 out of 4 or possibly get a split. And I think that's what San Diego wants to avoid. I think they want to get 3 out of 4 to have any chance to catch the Dodgers in the National League West. And that's what a lot of people are thinking right now. I would be thinking that too, to be quite honest with you. Okay, let's move on. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies start a very important 3-game set tonight. Excuse me. I had to take a switch real quick. The Cardinals and the Phillies start a very important 3-game set. However, the Phillies are going to be minus their spark plug, Bryce Harper, due to injury. We have no timetables for his return. But here's the real downside. Bryce Harper, he was hitting 318 before he got hurt. Now, the Cardinals hitting us, they got the power hitters now. They may be thinking 3-game set, a 3-game sweep of the Phillies. But anyway, here is the matchup for tonight. The opener on a Friday night, and this is the Friday night game at 6 o'clock on the MLB Network, people. This is your opener. Miles Mikolas, he has a 5-5 record with a 2.57 ERA and 78 strikeouts to his credit. This guy, if he can win and get a few more games and go like 7 or 8-5, we'd be all right. But it is what it is. And he will be, and Miles Mikolas tonight will be, and the Philadelphia Phillies will be sending Bailey Flatter. They're sending him to the mound. He has an 0-2 record with a 4.50 ERA and only 13 strikeouts to his credit. This is kind of an interesting matchup, and that's all there is to it. Now, on Saturday, the St. Louis Cardinals are sending Matthew Liberatore to the mound. He has a 2-1 record with an ERA of 4, and he only has 15 strikeouts to his credit. And the Phillies will be sending Kyle Gibson to the mound. He has a 4-3 record with a 4.48 ERA and 68 strikeouts to his credit. That's your Saturday matchup. And then the Sunday matchup, and this is the game on Sunday Night Baseball. The St. Louis Cardinals will be sending Adam Wainwright to the mound. He has a 6-5 record with a 3.07 ERA, 76 strikeouts to his credit. And the Phillies will be sending Zach Wheeler to the mound. This is the matchup I love. He has a 6-4 record with a 2.89 ERA and 94 strikeouts to his credit. The Sunday night matchup on ESPN, that's the one I'm looking forward to. And I really am. Because two great pitchers, two of the best in the Cardinals and Phillies rotation, I'm looking forward to it. But now, if you look at the hitting department for both these teams, you got Paul Goldschmidt. Old Goldie, he's hitting 342 right now. But what about Nolan Arenado? He's hitting a respectable 278. Tommy Edman, not that far behind. He's hitting a nice 271. And Harrison Bader, I haven't given him much love, but I need to. He's hitting 256 right now. That's why the Cardinals are still having their struggles, as the Brewers are still in first place in the National League Central. However, with the Phillies minus their spark plug Bryce Harper, who's next? Who's the next best hitter that the Phillies have? Alec Bohm. He's only hitting 263 right now. I know I'm saying only 263, but when you got Harper hitting 318, there's concerns. Rhys Hoskins, he's only hitting 251. Nick Castellanos, he's hitting a respectable 248, but that may not be enough. And JT Realmuto, he's only hitting 239 right now. That's not good. Those four guys right there, their batting averages are good, but not great. But they're not good, but considering you got Paul Goldschmidt hitting 342 for the Cardinals right now. Arenado hitting 278, Edman 271, Bader 256. So I think that right now, everybody in St. Louis is thinking, we're going to Philly to get a sweep. And I think that's what everybody's thinking right now. Had Harper not got hurt, I would have loved to see a battle between Goldschmidt and Harper. And that's just all there is to it. Now, I'm going to be quite honest with you. Am I disappointed? I am. But it is a 3-game set. And there's a lot at stake for St. Louis. And there's some at stake for the Phillies too. Because they're trying to catch the Braves and the Red Hot Mets in the National League East. So is there a lot at stake? Oh, yes, there is. And that's all there is to it. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk some motor racing. The NASCAR Cup Series is at Road America for the first time ever. And this is a 3 o'clock race on the USA Network on Sunday. Chase Elliott won last week at Nashville. They needed over 7 hours to complete the race because of all the rain. This is the first time ever that the NASCAR Cup Series has gone to Road America. Kyle Larson made the comment saying, I like this track. It's nice and long. And you got some fast straightaways and some tight corners. I've seen the Indy cars race here. It's a miracle no one has been badly injured in a crash here. Chase Elliott was like, this is my first time racing here, and I'm nervous. I like the track, but I'm nervous because it's the very first time we've ever come here. This is going to be an interesting race on Sunday. The first time the NASCAR Cup Series has ever come to Road America. We've had the Xfinity Series go to Road America, and some of those Xfinity drivers, they liked it. The first time the Cup Series gets to come to Road America. And we'll see how the race goes. 40-some cars. Because don't forget, the Cup Series, when they go up, they got to go up the hill to take the green flag on Sunday. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this race goes. And now, the IndyCar Series is back at Mid-Ohio. This is a 12 noon race on NBC. The last time we saw the IndyCars was Joseph Newgarden winning at Road America. So some of the IndyCar guys can give the NASCAR Cup guys some advice. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be a great race. Two great races on Sunday afternoon. But as far as the IndyCars go, Joseph Newgarden, can the Penske team keep up their dominance of the road courses? Or will Chip Ganassi and Marcus Ericsson break through and get another win? Or can Graham Rahal come through and win on his home track? His daddy's won there twice. Back-to-back in 85 and again in 86. We'll see what happens Sunday afternoon. Two great races. It's going to be a wonderful weekend. Out at Mid-Ohio and at Road America. Two sports car courses. It's going to be fun to watch. All right, we got to move on. Let's move on to the world of college football. And this is huge. USC and UCLA are leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. It is unanimous and it's official. Starting in 2024, USC and UCLA are joining the Big Ten Conference. And there's a lot of people scratching their heads this morning, including myself. I'm like, wait a minute here. They want USC and UCLA, they want to go across the country to play in the Big Ten? Really? But I'll be honest with you. It was a unanimous vote with all the presidents and chancellors of all the Big Ten universities. There was a vote when they met on Thursday evening, they took it to a vote, and it was unanimous. Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren made the comment saying, we are very excited about having USC and UCLA come to the Big Ten. It's going to be a great opportunity for them to really get some national recognition. And we're looking forward to it. USC Athletic Director Mike Bones made this following statement. We are looking forward to going to the Big Ten. We want to compete against teams like Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, and we're looking forward to it. We want to come here and we want to prove ourselves. And we want to prove ourselves to the country. The Pac-12 released a statement along the Pac-12 conference released a statement along the lines of, we're extremely surprised and disappointed. Yeah. When you lose two of your biggest schools to the Big Ten, that's a deal right there. Now, what caused USC and UCLA to leave the Pac-12 for the Big Ten? That's a lot of people are asking this morning. Well, it has to do with TV rights. The contract with the Pac-12 expires this year. It expires next year in 2023. Actually, the TV contract that USC and UCLA have with the Pac-12, it expires. So what's going to happen? They don't want to pay all that. They don't want to have to pay show cause penalties or something like that. It's something along those lines. All it boils down to is the money. And that's where they're going to go. So the question is, what's next when USC and UCLA leave? I put it down like this. I got two possible scenarios for the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is likely done. Because think about this, and I just found out, Oregon and Washington have clear incentive to leave. That just gave them more clear incentive to go somewhere else. And the Big Ten, I'll come back to them in a minute because they may not be done. I'll address that in a minute. Oregon and Washington have clear incentive to leave now. They have clear incentive to leave because they don't have to pay all that show cause penalty money. But what about Utah and Colorado? They have some options they could play with. They could possibly go to the Big 12. They could replace Texas, Oklahoma. Because remember, that's how this whole thing started. It all started with Texas, Oklahoma. And that's all there is to it right there. But the Pac-12 has another option. They could pick up possible replacements like San Diego State or Boise State. That's something to think about. They can look at that too. But what about the Big Ten? I'm going to put it to you in this one way. The Big Ten is now the SEC of the North. Honestly, you pick up USC, UCLA, two big schools out of the Pac-12, and they come across the country. And all of a sudden now, the landscape of college football has changed all of a sudden. And now USC's got Lincoln Riley. Ohio State's got Ryan Day. You want a recruitment battle? You got one in the Big Ten. That's what I'm thinking this morning. A lot of people here in Big Ten country are thinking, wow. And some of them are scratching their heads. But when they heard what was really going on, then they're like, okay. Then when the reality started to set in, most people are thinking, Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day, Ohio State, USC, wow. You want a recruitment battle? You got one right there. But, however, in this whole thing, in this whole mess, with this landscape in college football, Notre Dame could fit into all this. Could Notre Dame possibly go ACC in football? That's a possibility. But with the current landscape, that could keep them independent. Because you got to remember, Notre Dame is ACC in college basketball. But I'm going to talk about Notre Dame at the end. I'm going to keep that in mind. I'll come back to Notre Dame because I'm going to do that in my closing thoughts. But the landscape in college football has changed in a big, big way. Now, let's talk some NBA free agency today. The Denver Nuggets' Nikola Jokic has agreed to the largest contract in NBA history. 5 years, $270 million. He got the Supermax extension. So that means he's going to be playing 6 seasons for a total of $303 million. The two-time MVP has taken the Denver Nuggets to the playoffs. They haven't gone very far, but he has taken them to the playoffs. Sometimes they've had troubles against teams like Golden State, the Lakers. You know what it means. But the Denver Nuggets are very happy to have Nikola Jokic back for another 5 years. He's been their spark plug. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad Nikola's in Denver. That's a perfect fit for him. And I'm going to say this, hey, if the Nuggets can get back into the playoffs and possibly win the NBA World Championship, I think that's what they want. They want that NBA World title. And may I say this, Nikola, I'm glad you decided to stay in the U.S., man. You're a great player, 2-time MVP. And I'm going to tell you, I'm really going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy watching the Denver Nuggets play a little bit more. The Phoenix Suns. I got some great news for the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker has agreed on a 4-year, $224 million super extension contract value. 6 years, $295 million. Devin Booker has become the new face of the Phoenix Suns, everybody. Last year, the Suns went to the NBA Finals for only like a second or third time ever. Sadly, they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks in 6 games. At age 25, Devin Booker has become the face of the Phoenix Suns, teaming up with the legendary Chris Paul, or CP3, may I say. Like I said last year, the Suns went to the NBA Finals. They could have went back had they not run into the Golden State Warriors. A tough Warriors team. Devin Booker is the new face of the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns will be back in the finals. Hopefully next time they make it to the finals, they win it. But the main thing is, I want to talk about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant wants a trade, has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. I don't understand why Durant would do that. Last year, Durant only played 55 games due to an MCL injury. And who would want to pay 4 years, $200 million for a guy who only played 55 games last year? The Brooklyn Nets barely survived the play-in playoff last year, this year as a 7th seed. But there are two teams that are interested in Durant. The Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat have Durant on their wish list. Now, Durant, an all-time legend, 12 All-Star appearances, 4 scoring titles, an NBA World Championship with the Golden, I think either 1 or 2 NBA rings with the Golden State Warriors. With him being available, who would want to pay 4 years, $200 million? Durant, I don't know what his problem is. He gets his feelings hurt. He wants to be traded. He's requested a trade. The only thing I hope for, and I pray to God this doesn't happen, I pray that Kevin Durant doesn't wind up going to the Los Angeles Lakers. Because you put Durant with the guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, all those egos, it's just going to be a nightmare. And that's all I got to say about that. Kevin Durant, you should just stay where you're at, opt in, and just be thankful. This is going to come back to bite him in a big way. And I'm going to be honest. With Kevin Durant, I know the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat have Durant on their wish list. But you got to pay 4 years, $200 million. You got to come up with the money with the salary cap. And that's the thing. Now, free agency is heating up. We're going to see where Durant goes. And that's going to be an interesting thing to see how that goes. And that's the bottom line of the matter. KD should have just stayed in Brooklyn, opted in like Kyrie Irving. Now I know the Brooklyn Nets haven't won a playoff series, and I know Durant wants another ring. But Kevin, you got to think about yourself. You got to think about everybody else. You got to stop worrying about everything else, and just think of you, and just be a team player. That's all there is to it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts. The landscape of college football has changed. Is it for the better or for the worse? As you know, Texas, Oklahoma, they started this whole thing by going to the Southeast Conference. And now, with USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten, they have become the SEC of the North. That's the way I see it. The Pac-12, in the minds of many, they're likely done because Oregon and Washington have shown intents of leaving. They now have incentive to leave and go somewhere else. Utah, Colorado, they could possibly go to the Big 12. They could be possible replacements for Texas, Oklahoma. The landscape is changing. Notre Dame, what about them? They have a lot of people are saying they got more incentive to stay independent in football. But if you ask me, I think Notre Dame needs to go ACC if they want to be relevant again. If you want to Notre Dame, if you want to be relevant in college football again, you're gonna have to go ACC. You're gonna have to forget about being independent and quit beating up little teams. It's time for you guys to put your big boy pants on and play big name schools like Clemson, Florida State, Louisville, just to name a few. The reason why I'm saying go ACC in football now is because the landscape of the sport is changing. And that's all there is to it. And to be quite fair to you, if you want to stay independent in football, that's your prerogative. But I'm telling you, Notre Dame, you need to go ACC in football if you want to be relevant. You're ACC in basketball. Okay. But when it comes to football, you got to end your independent status if you want to make noise. Now, I know the current landscape in college football is changing. However, at the end of the day, Notre Dame, you got to go ACC. Because with the landscape that is going on, you're not going to get the recognition that you deserve. And that's all there is to it. And those are my thoughts on this day. Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this Friday. I will be back here at Sunday night at 11:30 for the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Machine Sunday wrap-up. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this Friday. Please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is type my name, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you will see all the sports shows I have done so far. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Goodbye, everybody, and I thank you.